Good afternoon, ladies, and any gentlemen I may have joining me today. My name is Olivia Winfield, and I welcome you to today's edition of Butts, Guts, and Body, where, as the name implies, we are going to be doing exercises that are focused on your lower half as well as your core. So I'm going to go ahead and get the timer started, and then we're going to get ready to rock. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's start with some side leg raises. Going up, 1, 2, 3, make sure that core is engaged. 4, 5, 6, you don't need to bring your leg up super duper high. 7, 8, 9, and 10, switching sides. 1, whew, that feels good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keeping that core engaged is gonna keep you stationary so you're not leaning over as you kick it up. All right, let's bring our feet now down together, and we're just gonna do a simple squat. Feet should be about shoulder width distance apart, and you're gonna sit down. There you go. 1, 2. If you have a bench or a chair, it might be helpful for you to think of it as literally sitting down in the chair. That might help. All right, so I'm gonna use that for demonstration. 2, 3, if you are using a chair. 4, come down and just kiss the chair. 5, don't sit all the way down. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Now we're gonna get the inner thigh here. So let's do a little sumo squat. Feet should be out past shoulder width distance now. Feet turn towards the corners, and you're gonna sink down. So you definitely wanna make sure you're feeling that stretch right here. If you need to, you can widen your legs just a smidgen. A note for me, I guess. 1, 2, 3, make sure you're still pushing down in those heels. 4, 5, 6, core is engaged. 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, let's bring our feet together now. We're gonna do a lunge. Start targeting these quads. Actually, let's do some butt kicks. 2, 3, welcome to quads. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, and 20. Okay, now we're gonna do a lunge, all right? So kind of building off of what we were doing with that squat, start with your feet together, and you can either, here I'll do a side, you can either opt to come forward and step back, or you step backwards, all right? I'm gonna go forward. I usually go backwards, but we're gonna switch it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's easier for your body, your anatomy, you can also kind of do this out at a diagonal instead of going straight ahead. But if you do it on the diagonal, make sure your whole body is facing this way, okay? All right, next leg. So let me turn around so you can see. All right, stepping out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, and 10. All right, guys. All right, I'm feeling pretty warmed up. Hopefully you are too. If you're not, go ahead and pause this video, do a couple other warm-ups if you have them, and then press play and resume. All right, first exercise of the day. We're gonna do a little combo wombo, what I like to call it. So we're gonna do a Romanian deadlift to a squat. I'm opting to use a kettlebell today, but you can certainly do this with dumbbells, or you can even opt to do this with just your body weight. That is always an option you have available to you when you come into my class. Okay, so the chair here is to help us as a guide. So, Romanian deadlift first. So I like to start with a slight bend in my knees, standing up straight, pushing those hips backwards. So that's why we have the chair here, okay? So you know, you're pushing your hips backwards, like you're closing a car door, okay? Closing, pushing back into those hips, those heels. Come up, bring your kettlebell up in the front row. Sit down. You see the difference? That's why the chair is there. Okay, so if you are doing a Romanian deadlift and you feel your butt cheeks touching the chair, touching the bench, you're doing it wrong, okay? Let me demonstrate without it. So again, starting with your feet slightly hinged, pushing your hips back like someone has a string wrapped around your hips, or like you're trying to close a door with your hips. You're just literally pushing them back, pushing into your heels. You should feel a stretch all along the back of your leg. And then you're gonna push down into those heels again. So you should already still have your weight in your heels. So from that same spot, you're gonna just push yourself up to standing, pushing down into your heels, okay? Now you're standing up straight. You're gonna bring it up like in a front row. And then you're gonna sit down like you're sitting in a chair. That's 2. All right, let's go. 3, 4. And if you don't quite get it, that's okay. We're doing it 2 more times. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, we'll stop there. And then for our core, we're gonna do a dead bug variation. Okay, so your dead bugs, you come down to the mat. Typically you do a dead bug, opposite arm moving away from your opposite leg. Move that, okay. Opposite arm moving away from opposite leg, right? Or you can do same leg, same arm. What we're gonna do is we're gonna move arms and legs away from each other. So make sure shoulder blades, hip bones, all of that are contacting to the mat. They gotta stay that way. And you're gonna move your arms away from your feet, squeeze your butt to keep your legs together and come back. 1, 2, 3. The goal is to keep your lower back on the mat. 4, so you will need your core engaged. 5, no rocking. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. That was round 1, guys. Make sure you have some water and make sure you drink it. I said this in my class yesterday, punch, pull, press, which is my upper body program. Similar concept, of course, except we're just doing upper body. And I will say it in this class too. This is not the class you want to do on an empty stomach. This is not the class that you're going to come in and want to do this fasted. I'm strongly recommending that you don't. Please make sure you are eating something before you turn my class on, okay? And I'm not saying that bowl of yogurt you had, you know, at 9 a.m., at 7 a.m., at 8 a.m. No. I'm saying you had better eat at least a protein bar 30 to 45 minutes before this class, if not an actual meal. This is not the class that you want to play those games with. And I understand if weight loss, fat loss is a goal for you, caloric deficit, I understand. However, your body still needs food. It still needs fuel to function, to repair, to build muscles, all of that stuff. Your body is not gonna be able to do that to its full capacity if you are not feeding it sufficiently and properly. When you are working out, you need to consume more, okay? Even if weight loss is your goal, and tracking your calories, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it is a necessary part of the journey, because you need to know how much you're eating. But trust, you are creating a caloric deficit just by increasing your activity level. So for however much you think you don't need to eat, you probably actually do need to eat just a little bit more. And for this class especially, you need to eat before you do it. You will not feel good halfway through, and you really won't feel good at the end of it, all right? And this class is not to make you feel depleted afterwards. Like, don't make a mistake. You will sweat, okay? I don't know how many that was. I'm so sorry. That just shows you I need to go up in weight if I can talk that much. But again, you have to eat. You need to eat something before this class. You need to eat something hearty and nutritious. Okay, I'm not saying it needs to be like a bowl of oatmeal or anything like that. Oh, that would be best. And nor am I saying you need to eat a pan of lasagna. I ain't saying that. But what I am saying is that before I got online to teach, I had air-fried barbecue chicken, rice, and steamed mixed vegetables, okay? Like, that's what I'm talking about. That kind of meal, okay? That's how you need to be fueling yourself before you do these workouts. Because the goal is not to deplete yourself. The goal is to feel stronger, tighter, accomplished. I don't want you to walk away feeling nauseous. I don't want you to walk away feeling exhausted because you have expended all of your energy stores. That's not it.
If the energy's right.
So again, eat. And I'm saying this as somebody who begun their fitness journey with weight loss, with losing weight. So what I'm sharing with you is the stuff I had to discover on my own, as far as like when I was tracking calories and when I realized, like, when I was starting to see results, real results, the results that I wanted to see. And I did. I went back through my Fitness Pal. I collected the years of data that I had stored in there, and I compared my calorie consumption, and I was actually eating way more calories than I was before. All right, I switched to dumbbells because 15 was obviously too light for me because I can talk too much. So we're switching to something heavier. Moving to dumbbells. 3. 4. Whew. 5. Halfway. 6. This is where your upper body strength is actually getting more work, I think, than my legs. And yeah, I'm not gonna be someone who's gonna sit here and tell you, yeah, for breakfast I have 2 boiled eggs, a bowl of yogurt, and a piece of fruit. No, anybody who's seen what I eat in the morning here knows I eat a lot heartier than that. One of my favorite breakfast meal preps to make is a breakfast scramble with hash crowns, specifically hash crowns or tater tots if they don't have those, ground turkey sausage, eggs, and onions and peppers. That's a typical breakfast for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So yeah, as an example. Now that is not what I actually wanted to talk about today. But it is a spiel that I feel is very important to give. No, what I actually wanted to talk about today was healing, the healing journey, the healing process. But what I wanted to talk about, and I think it's something that a lot of people don't necessarily like to talk about because it means having to confront their ugly. But one part of the healing process that cannot be skipped is you need to be able to be honest with yourself when you have messed up, when you have hurt somebody else, when you acted selfishly in your own interests. Even if you don't admit it to anybody else, you need to be able to look at yourself in the mirror sometimes and just go, yeah, I did that. That was grimy. You know, no justifications. No, well, that person made me. I wouldn't have done it if. No. Can you be starkly honest with yourself and admit when you've messed up? Or when you know that you were being selfish? And there's nothing wrong with being selfish. But can you admit in that act of selfishness, can't you admit to yourself that in that act of selfishness, you hurt other people? I feel like a lot of folks don't want to, don't feel like they need to, or, you know, for a lot of them, they're still caught on, wait, hold up, but that person did me wrong. And it's true. And I think that's another thing people struggle with. More than one thing can be true at the same time. And two truths can exist at the same time. You can have been hurt, you can have been harmed, and you also could have hurt and harmed others. So what do you do with that? You know? And it's really easy to get caught up in the beating up yourself, the recriminations, living with the guilt, and all of that stuff. After a certain point, that is not productive. Speaking from personal experience, it can lead to some very interesting acts of self-harm. But I digress. And self-harm does not just mean in the physical. So, how do you balance, or how do you reconcile, like, okay, I did this thing, I hurt somebody with this act, you know, or like, yeah, I was being selfish and I didn't care. Like, even if, say, making amends to the person that you hurt isn't necessarily a viable option, what then do you do moving forward to ensure that you don't do that again? Can you interrogate where that came from in the first place? What your motivation was? Are you honest enough with yourself to be able to have that kind of conversation with yourself? And it's not an easy conversation. It's not easy to say, you know, especially after you've been hurt so much, it's not easy to then be able to say, like, oh, but I did hurt other people. It's uncomfortable because you're like, well, no, I've been hurt, I've been harmed, therefore I am justified in, you know, leaking my pain everywhere. All right, next up we're gonna do side lunges. So, step out and then step back, and I'm gonna do this as a continuous side lunge. So I'm gonna actually bring my feet out way past shoulder width distance and step back into that heel, 1, and switch, 2, there you go, 3, get that inner thigh, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, we'll leave it there. So, because like I said, I know for me, part of my healing journey, like, yes, was like one, being able to acknowledge like, oh wait, no, okay, that was hurt, that was harm. But then taking it one step further and being like, okay, so in that hurt, in that harm, in that reaction to it, how and when did you take it out on other people that had nothing to do with that situation? Yeah. All right, we're gonna do a modified burpee. So, starting from a standing position, come down, hands to the ground, step out. If you want, add in the push-up. 1, come up, down. 2, 3. We're not gonna do too many of these guys. 4, mostly because I hate them, but we're doing them anyway. And 5. All right. See, I told you we're not gonna do too many of them. So yeah, because like I said, for a lot of us in our healing journey, for those of us who have a background, a history, I should say, of overextending ourselves, overgiving, being seemingly selfless, although really it wasn't selfless, it was all still in a bid to make sure these people liked me and continued to like me. So again, interrogating the motives of why you do what you do. And so it's very easy to be caught up in like, well, I was hurt all these other times, so therefore, because this empathy wasn't practiced with me, I am not gonna practice empathy with others, which, that's a whole nother rant for another tirade for another day. But the point still stands though. If that's your thought process, are you really any better than the people that hurt you in the first place? 3, 4, 5, no you're not. 6, well, I hate to break it to you. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. Say, if you pass the hurt that was done to you onto others, you are no better than the person that hurt you in the first place. You're not. You are not. Whatever you want to tell yourself, I'm gonna just be straight up with you. No, you're not. You're just as harmful as they are. So long as you are making other people pay for mistakes that they didn't make, you are part of the problem. And I'm being so serious. If you're feeling called out right now, good, you should. Because I'm talking to you. Because it's all fine, well, and good to be able to acknowledge and understand how deeply you've been hurt. But that means absolutely diddly to the person that you hurt as a result of that. Which is why, as part of healing, you need to be able to acknowledge when you have hurt others in the past. And so that, therefore, you can know how to not hurt other people moving forward. Or at least not hurt them in the same way. Because yes, while it is true, hurt people can also be healing when they know how to transform and alchemize that pain into healing. When they know that I know how much it hurts and I don't want to inflict that pain on anybody else. That to me was a promise that I made to myself when I really locked in on my healing journey. I'm not even talking about the physical. I'm talking purely the spiritual, purely the mental. For me, I remember when I was first meeting with my therapist, first meeting with my life coach, I just made a silent vow to myself that I was not gonna hurt people the way that I had been hurt. Not intentionally anyway. And part of that is acknowledging the times that I have hurt other people because of my trauma, because of my pain. So in moving forward and receiving better tools, better knowledge, it helps me, like I said, see the ways that I've been hurting other people. And so I don't want to carry that pain forward. I don't want to hurt people the same way that I have been hurt. It's not fun. I remember how it feels. Now, of course, what's really fun is when you encounter somebody who is very deeply in pain and they know it, they see it, and you want to help them get out of that pain, but they seem stuck or almost like they don't want to get out of the pain because the pain is comfort to them now at this point. It's a shield. It stops anybody from getting closer to them, and it allows them to keep people at a distance, while at the same time, though, weirdly still wanting that closeness with other people, but not too much. I have been dealing with some very avoidant types, as you can see. So, I don't know why I always start down on the ground like that. All right. So, it's like, can you acknowledge how you have hurt other people in the midst of that pain? Or do you want to, I guess, is the thing. Are you even trying to hear it? I mean, most people aren't trying to hear it. That was a terrible push-up. I was probably actually doing better before I looked. Okay, and rest. So, it's like you have to want to be better. You have to want to get better. And with that getting better, that also has to mean a willingness to confront the aspects of yourself that you probably don't really care for. It means reconciling with the fact that you're not perfect, but also anybody that truly cares for you, seeks to understand you, isn't seeking perfection from you. Perfection, in a lot of ways, it's a guard. It's a fantasy. It's a fallacy. It doesn't exist. And so long as people have built up a fantasy of what they think how they think somebody should behave as a direct reflection of their pain, you're never gonna be happy. You're never gonna be satisfied, you know? Because nobody's gonna be able to measure up to this ideal that you have built up in your head. Because nobody is perfect, even you. So, again, I ask, can you acknowledge how you've hurt other people? For people who are coming out of relationships. I know it's not so black and white often that somebody directly hurt you. Usually, y'all are probably hurting each other, one degree or another. Most cases. I'm not talking about the extremes. So, in the dissolution of that relationship, after the dust has cleared, can you look at your part in the demise of your relationship? Are you able to view with clear eyes what part you took and why things ended the way they ended? Can you see their side of the argument? Are you able to review your mental tape of your behavior and be able to acknowledge, if only to yourself of, yeah, okay, that was kind of messed up. I shouldn't have done that. Like, can you do that? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you can't, oh, wait, hold on a second. What am I doing? Burpees, okay. Because if you can't, you're going to have, well, I won't say a hard time, but your relationships are probably not going to be as fulfilling as you would like because you have this barrier up. And you either don't see or don't want to remove the barrier. And that is your right. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But I will say your relationships will be impacted because of it. So, all right, guys. We spent a little bit longer on our first 2 exercises today, and we are already out of time. So we are going to skip our 3rd exercise that we typically do, but if you want to do them on your own, it's just clamshells. So you come up on your hip, just make sure that shoulder is stacked over the elbow, keep your heels together, and then you're gonna come up. So that was gonna just be our last exercise. We're just doing some simple clamshells. But in any case, since we are at time here, let's just go ahead and move into our cool down, because I don't know about you, I still feel plenty sweaty. We're still gonna go over time, but not too far over. All right, come down into downward dog, but I promise we're not doing any burpees anymore, guys. Whew. Feel that stretch in the back of my legs. Feels nice. Okay. Bring that right foot to center, kick that left leg up into 3-legged dog. Oh, feel that stretch along the side. Oh my goodness, that feels amazing. All right, shoot it in between the hands here. Come up if you want. Bring that back leg down. We are now in a runner's lunge. You can even drop, you can flex the foot. Okay. Getting that front quad flexor here. So yeah, that's all I really just wanted to say. It's been on my mind for a little bit. And maybe it's just because of the people that I have, well, I don't want to say dealt with, but dealt with. All right, guys, I'm gonna come up into that warrior, bring our hands down, kick that leg back up into 3-legged dog, bring it back down, bring that left leg to center, kick the right leg up now, up into 3-legged dog, opening up that side. All right. And let's bring that knee and that foot in between these hands. Bring that knee down. Runner's lunge. Woo. So that's all I just want to talk about with y'all today. It was just that part of the healing journey. Like, okay, you are acknowledging and recognizing now how you've been hurt and you've been harmed in the past. Can you now recognize and acknowledge when you have harmed and hurt others in the past? No justification. And you can explain it. You can know where it came from. You can know what pain brought that about, you know? Like, you can do all of that. Should we go this way? Oh, yeah. Like, you can do all of that. But remember, it's only an explanation. It's not an excuse. It's not a justification. If you need to be able to get to a point where you can say without equivocation, without any of that, you can say, yeah, I hurt somebody doing that. And like I'm not saying you have to go and make amends to that person, because that's not always an option. But the best thing you can do is just do better moving forward. But in order to do better moving forward, you gotta first know what you did wrong. So, can you do that? And be honest with yourself. Do you want to do that? Do you believe you have hurt and harmed other people in the past? I guess is the other question. Start there. Because if you don't think you've hurt anybody, or if you think that any time that you have hurt somebody is justified, well, then I don't really have anything else to say. I don't have anything else to say to you at that point. So, yeah. All right. Happy baby. Let's end with the happy baby, guys. All right, on your back. Grab the arches of your feet or your toes, whatever works easiest for you, your ankles, whatever you can reach. Getting those inner thighs. All right, guys. We are over time, and I'm gonna let y'all go in a minute, but before I do, if you are watching this on YouTube, I highly, highly, highly recommend that at some point you please subscribe to our virtual Y platform. It is only $9.99 a month, and we offer a wide variety of exercises and even non-exercise content. So if after this class you want to go check it out, maybe you want to do a little cool down stretch with Mike or Ellen, or maybe you want to do some Qigong with Karen, maybe you want to continue doing some strength work and you want to check out Angie or Britt. Either way, we got it all for you. That's me. My name is Olivia Winfield. I'm a personal trainer, virtual Y instructor based here out of downtown Minneapolis. And I thank you all so much for tuning in for today's edition of Butts, Guts, and Body. I'll see you all later.
I'm Sarah, and this is cardio dance. Are you guys ready to work out? Let's do it.
I woke up feeling like this gon' be my day. I got that poppin' fire every step I take. Living that wild life.
Through the bag. Go. That's where we want to go.
Last 10 seconds. I'm right here with you. Let's do it. Welcome to the Y. My name is Erin. I'm Jennifer. My name is Linda.
My name is Tommy, and today we're going to do a quick step routine.
We feeling like we can conquer the world today?
I wish you all could smell it. It smells so good.
Time. We get stronger in my world.